Hey guys, it is your girl Courtney Lauren, and I am back today showing you guys another recipe, and we are making stuffed salmon with a sun-dried tomato cream sauce. Here I have 5 salmon fillets that I went ahead and cut the pockets into. I just took a paring knife and just made a slit down the middle, not too deep so that you don't poke through the other side. I'm also going to be using 1 block of cream cheese, soft cream cheese, so you might want to pop it in the microwave for a few seconds to soften it up. I have about a cup of cooked chopped spinach. I also have some fresh baby spinach, some olive oil. I have some sun-dried tomatoes in oil. I have 1 medium onion finely chopped up, along with about a half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, crushed red pepper, smoked paprika, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, parsley flakes, although I didn't even use these because it was parsley already in my Italian seasoning, slap your mama seasoning. I'm also going to be using some onion powder, some heavy cream, and some minced garlic today. Alright, so first I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a bowl. And I did actually heat up my cream cheese just for a few seconds to make it nice and soft. And I'm going to put that right into my bowl. After I go ahead and put in my cream cheese, I'm going to grab my chopped up spinach and I'm going to add that right into my bowl as well. And then today we are going to be using my measuring spoons again. And right now I'm going to be measuring out the seasonings for this. So we're going to be using a half a teaspoon of my Slap Your Mama seasoning. We're going to use a half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. A half a teaspoon of garlic powder. A half a teaspoon of onion powder, and a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. And there we have it. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a nice big spoon, mix this all up until all my seasoning and my spinach and cream cheese is nice and evenly incorporated and distributed. And then after that, I'm going to grab my minced garlic and I'm going to add 1 full teaspoon of minced garlic. So I'm just going to use my half and do that twice, which makes a whole teaspoon. And then we're going to mix that up as well, get that nice and incorporated into everything. And our filling for our salmon fillets is ready now. So next I'm going to go ahead and grab my salmon fillets and we're going to just get a spoon and we're going to fill those pockets that we made with that filling that we just made with the spinach. So like I said, I already made my pockets before I started recording, so I'm just going to go ahead and grab my spoon and then just fill each pocket with our filling very generously. Get as much in there as you possibly can because a little bit will seep out, so just try and pack it as best as you can. Alright, so I'm going to be making a spice mix to go on our salmon. We're going to be using 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika. We're using 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and 1 teaspoon of Slap Your Mama seasoning. And I'm just going to grab a teaspoon. I'm just going to mix that all up to make sure all my spices are all evenly incorporated together. As you can see, it looks really pretty and colorful, and we're just going to go ahead and start sprinkling our seasoning mix right on top of our salmon fillets. You're going to want to season the tops and the bottom, so after we season that top, we're just going to flip all the salmon fillets to the other side and then season the other side as well. And when you're flipping them over, just be careful. You don't want to do it too fast and then some of your filling starts to fall out. So I just did them very slowly. Even though I have it sped up here, I did it very slowly to make sure that my filling didn't fall out as I was flipping it over. Then we're just going to go ahead and season up that other side. Alright, and there we have it. We are ready to start cooking. So my pan right now is on about a 5. I'm going to go ahead and add about 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil to my already preheated pan. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take about 2 or 3 pieces of salmon at a time, depending on how big your pieces are. Mine were kind of big, so I'm going to be doing 2 at a time. And we're just going to go ahead and sear each side of our salmon for about 4 to 5 minutes on each side. So we're going to cook it about 4 to 5 minutes on one side, flip it to the other side, and then we're going to cook it for another 4 to 5 minutes as well. You're also going to want to get either a skillet or a baking pan. In this case, I actually had to use both because my salmon was so large that I wasn't able to fit all the pieces into one pan like I usually do. So I had to get a separate pan on the side for my last couple of pieces. But any kind of oven-safe dish that you guys usually cook in, you're going to want to put your salmon in that after you're done searing the sides. So here I have my skillet. I'm just going to go ahead and put my first couple of pieces of salmon in my skillet. And then I'm going to start cooking my next couple of pieces of salmon. We're going to do this in batches until all of our salmon has been seared on both sides. See, normally I can get about 4 pieces in there, but this salmon that I cut up today was so big that I ended up only getting 3 fillets in my actual skillet, and then I had to get a baking dish on the side for my last 2 fillets because my pieces of salmon were so big. So I'm going to go ahead and put that last piece in my baking dish, and then my oven is on 350 right now. We're going to bake that salmon off for another 10 minutes just to make sure that the inside is nice and cooked through, and we're going to make our sauce while that is in the oven baking. Alright, so in my pan I'm going to add another tablespoon or so of olive oil just because some of it has already kind of went away while we were cooking the salmon, so I'm just going to add just a tiny bit more. I'm also scraping out some of that charred spinach that was left at the bottom of the pan because we don't want that to be in the sauce. So now that we have done that, I'm going to go ahead and add 1 teaspoon of our minced garlic. I'm going to add all of our onions that we chopped up into the pot. And then I'm just going to get my spoon and mix this around just so that we can start cooking some of those onions and get them soft and nice and translucent before we move on to our next step. So just mix those around maybe for 2 or 3 minutes or so. And then after that, we're going to add in our sun-dried tomatoes. I want to say I added maybe like 1/4 of a cup. You guys know I'm not good at measurements because I just eyeball everything. But in this case, I used half of this skinny jar. I don't know if that helps, but I would say maybe like 1/4 cup. I also do like to add some of that oil from those tomatoes in too, because it gives the sauce a super, super, super good flavor. Not me saying super 3 times, but y'all understand what I'm trying to say. So go ahead and mix that around. Cook those tomatoes in with our onions and our garlic, and then we're going to add in about a teaspoon or so of crushed red pepper. We're going to add just a few shakes of our garlic powder, and then we're going to mix that around as well. So now that we gave that a nice stir and let that cook for a couple of minutes, we're going to add in about 1 cup of heavy cream right into our pan. And then we're going to get one big bunch of our baby spinach and add that right into. I like to cook this maybe for about 4 or 5 minutes just to get that spinach nice and wilted down, and everything just meshing together in the pan. So like I said, cook this for about 4 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to sprinkle some black pepper on there just to taste. So we're just going to season a little bit with some black pepper, and then mix that around as well. And then we're going to take our 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. I like to do this in batches, as you guys know. So at first I'm just going to put about 3 handfuls in, mix that all up, make sure that that gets nice and evenly blended and melted up. And then I'll do my last couple of handfuls after that. And then we're going to go ahead and mix that up and make sure our second batch of cheese is nice and melted into our sauce. And that is our cream sauce, you guys. It is so good, and that's going to go right on top of our salmon. So I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the oven. It's been in there for about 10 minutes, just to make sure that the filling and the inside of the salmon was nice and cooked through. As you can see, it's beautiful looking. It smells good. So we're going to grab our cream sauce that we made, and we're just going to put a couple of spoonfuls right on top of the salmon. And there we have it. That is our salmon with our sun-dried tomato cream sauce. When I tell you guys the salmon was so good, it just didn't make any sense. Like, I ate a piece as soon as I got done filming because it was just that good. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe. As always, give it a thumbs up and let me know if there's other videos you want to see from me. Bye, guys.